Hello, everyone. This is Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. Feel free to call me Z. I want to talk about, I think I'm going to give this title and call it Rise Up. When a giraffe lowers his head to the ground, are you aware that that giraffe runs the risk of passing out? Think about that for a moment. You know, giraffes have to lower their heads down sometime to get water or what have you. But when they lower their head down for too long, they literally run the risk of passing out. And why is that? It's because they were meant to stand tall. They were meant to stand tall. And they have these amazing hearts. Their hearts are like 26 pounds. You know, the pressure that it pumps the blood to get it up to the head is like 2.5 times more pressure than that of a human. I did a little bit of research on giraffes, so that's where I got, found out some of this information. Their blood pressure more than doubles when they go low to the ground, because it produces some sort of stress on their body. And so they have to rise up pretty quickly. I think one of the articles I read said something like within a second or two, they have to rise up. And we as humans, if we were to do that, we would literally just pass out. So giraffes, even though they're known as the tallest animal in the world, at least one of the tallest animals in the world, it comes at a great price. Because they're meant and they're built to stand tall. They can't stay down low for too long. Here and there just a little bit, but not for too long. Think about that for a moment. They would literally pass out. And you may say, Z, where in the world are you going with this? Well, here's where I'm going. I think some of us have been stooping low for way too long. That's it. I think we've been stooping low for way too long. Many times, and I've seen it, we spend too much time with our heads lowered to the ground, dealing with what I call ant issues, fighting with ants over some crumbs instead of eating from the treetops. So instead of having our rising to the level of our potential and setting our sights on the treetops, walking in the vision that we were built to walk in, eating from the top of the trees, we spend too much time on the ground arguing and fighting with ants, I guess you can say, and caterpillars and frogs and everything else, over some crumbs, over things that don't even matter. You may say, well, Z, what are some of the crumbs you're thinking about? Well, here are some of my examples, just some things that come to mind. I just call it fruitless arguments, It could be as simple as, you're mad because, I don't know, I'm just going to make up some stuff now. You're at work and somebody got a desk next to the window and you didn't. Somebody got a little bit of a raise and you didn't get it. And you hot. You mad at everybody. You got to make sure the boss knows. Because somebody else got a little bbit more money and you didn't get it. Or someone got, I don't know, more PTO days than you or something. I don't know. The company got them a flower for their birthday. You didn't get one. He may say, well, Z, that's not fair. I mean, we're in the workplace. Here's my point. If you are a giraffe, you don't have time to fight over crumbs. You don't have time to do that. Because as a giraffe, your sights are not even set on where you're at now. Your sight is set on where you're going. It may be starting your own company. It may be that next promotion that you're trying to get to. But you're sitting here stooping way too low, fighting over some crumbs. And I don't mean that in a derogatory manner or to put people down when I say you're dealing with ants over crumbs, because I'm not trying to say, okay, you're better than them. I'm just saying that you have potential, you have gifts, you have talents that God has given you, and you need to have your sight set on the treetops. And instead, your sight is on some mess like that. Give another example. Let's say you're just involved in petty arguments with people. I've seen some very intelligent people argue over some of the biggest mess, and I'm like, why are they wasting their time and energy? Any argument. I'm talking from political, religion, society, whatever. Just arguing over some stuff that just, I call it just fruitless conversations. That to me is an example of stooping too low, arguing with some ants over crumbs when I should be aiming for the treetops. think about another example. Let's say someone said something about you. Some family member or friend or someone told you what someone said about you behind your back. Or maybe they backstab you, because I've certainly had that happen to me. You don't have time for that. That's crumb stuff. I'll never forget when I first started this podcast. I kid you not, and I talked about this before. Someone, and that was when, I was being called some of everything, to be quite honest with you. Oh, my goodness. But I remember someone sent a message to me or something and said, you should look at the negative article I just wrote about you, or the negative something I just said about you. I know this person from Adam didn't do anything to anybody, by the way. And I never forget, one of my staff members said, Zeta, we need to look online and find out what that's about, what that, And I remember one or two people saying, we need to see like what, and I distinctly, and I remember this as clear as daylight, I said, we don't have time to be chasing crumbs like that. Whatever's out there is out there. I'm not going to waste time and energy to see what someone's saying about me, especially when I know I didn't do anything wrong to anyone, I do my best to run everything I do with dignity, honesty, love, respect, following the laws, following everything. That's just who I am. But that's just an example. Someone said something about you, and my mother used to tell me, baby, people are going to talk about you when you're alive, and they're going to talk about you when you're dead and gone. Get used to it. You can't stay low for too long. You'll pass out. The anxieties and the stress with trying to keep up with all that mess will literally have you passed out, because you were never meant to be low for that long. There are some, I'm kind of weird. I know I'm weird in some ways. There are literally situations in my life where I just say, oh my goodness, I'm laughing at myself, where I just say, I'm going to let this person think they won that. I'm going to let them think they won that one. Whether it's an argument or a different perspective they have on something or what have you. I'm just going to let them think they won that. It's not because I'm afraid of confrontation, because I actually really am not. But anyway, it's just because I don't have time to dedicate energy to something that is so fruitless, or something that's not going to feed me from the treetops. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just that I protect my time. Anyone that knows me, it's weird talking into a camera, because, you all are not here with me or with me on a daily basis in my life. But for everyone that knows me, they will tell you in a moment, Z protects her time. I literally right now have a list of maybe, 15 or 18 things that needs to get done. And I prioritize based on what's important. And I start with treetop issues, if that makes any sense. And there are some other smaller issues, even a couple of little minor issues where, some company owes me like 60 some bucks, or I need to get a refund on something because, I ordered the product and they sign in two instead of one, you know what I mean? I ordered two, they sign in one, like some more minor things like that, right? I can't let everything take my focus and take my priority when I'm aiming for the treetops. I know that's a weak example, but I'm just making a point. I aim at the treetops. So a lot of the other things that come my way, I literally have to say, you know what? That's ant level. That's ant level. Like I don't even respond to it. And the people that are around me that know me very, very well, they'll know, even when we have a meeting or whatever goes on, they'll know I'll say, you know what, you guys, right now I'm in tier 5. That's like a tier 1 or tier 2 issue. We may not even ever address it or get to it. Like I can't, I don't even want to comment on it. Does that make sense? I know you all enough to know there's just so much potential that's still not tapped into. And I'm just going to keep hitting at you. Just keep hitting at you. Keep punching you. Keep hitting at you with love until something in you is rocked to where you get it. And I've seen so many times, because I've led a lot of counseling sessions. What you all don't know, because I really don't go into a lot of things I've done, the spiritual discovery classes I was doing, what you all don't know is I led those classes for years. I would even have groups of women, to be honest, come into my office on a weekend, and we'd sit for hours and go through things. But anyway, the point I'm getting with that is that in none of those classes, there was no charges for any of that. I did all that for free. But I'm making a point that I know from talking to many, many, many women that we so easily can get caught up. And this isn't typical of just women. I think it's typical of men as well. But I've never led classes with men in it from that perspective. But I'm just making a point. We can so easily get caught up in all of the things that come our way and the arrows that come our way, instead of focusing on the grand things, the big important things that we need to focus on. And all I'm saying is, stop fighting with the ants over crumbs. Let some people think they just won that one. You know, the examples I gave, I know those were weak examples, but whatever the examples are, whatever it is that's taking your focus away from what you need to be focused on, unless it's something pretty major, honestly, my opinion is, don't fight with the ants over crumbs. Let them have it. Let them have it. I'm not about to get on the phone with some, and I know this is another weak example, but even still, I'm not about to get on the phone with some restaurant or with some whatever and go back and forth with them over how they cheated me out of, an extra chicken sandwich or something, or go off on somebody because they said something about me and da-da-da-da-da. Or be upset at work because, you got the better view and I didn't get it. All of that stuff to me is just crumb issues. That does not mean I think I'm better than people, and I'm not saying that those things are not important. What I'm getting at is that when your focus is on the treetops, remember we talked earlier about the giraffe? If a giraffe stoops low for too long, look it up. Do your own search and find this information. They literally will pass out. They can't be at the ground for too long because they were meant to stand tall. And all I'm saying is take your rightful position. That's it. Just take your rightful position. Take your rightful position. So as you go throughout your day, situations and things come your way. Have a little fun with life. That's what I'm learning. Every episode, I feel like I'm growing and learning more and more and more. I always bring up my son because his death has taught me how to live. But I'm learning to have a little fun with life. And I'm just learning to prioritize things and what is worthy of my precious time and attention and energy. That's probably a better way to put it. What's worthy of your precious time and energy? You have treetop issues that you need to be dealing with. You have treetop goals and visions that you need to be setting your sight on. And there are some things you're going to have to just let go and let it be, even if it seems like somebody may have gotten over on you a little bit or said something and, just say, that's an ant issue. I think I did a podcast a long time ago said, are you a grasshopper? And I talked about something very similar. You can go back and listen to that one. But anyway, take your rightful place. It's time to rise up and eat from the treetops. I believe it's okay to go low every now and then because giraffes actually have to do that. They can't stay high the entire time. I found that out too, the entire time, because there's something with the blood flow that has to regulate. So every now and then they have to lower their heads for a little bit and come back up. And I know I'm stretching this, to make it applicable in life, but you guys know how I do things. But for me, I just find knowledge in everything, even in nature. For me, that just lets me know, what? It's okay to deal with these issues because after all, that's called life. But I can't stay there for too long. Don't you stay low for too long. Do not stay low for too long. You better stop fighting with those ants over some crumbs when your butt should be eaten from the top of the treetops, okay? I love you all. You know I do. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Love you all. Bye-bye.